Hello, welcome back. In our last session, we asked whether fake data could be used to attack a business. And the answer was yes. Fake data injection, data tampering, and data poisoning are real threats that businesses are facing today. So how do you defend yourself against these attacks? Well, that's what we're going to be covering in this session. Let me introduce you to Tributech.
So what is Tributech? Well, Tributech is software that you can deploy. You can deploy it either as software as a service or in your own private cloud. How does it integrate with your environment? Well, the way that this works is Tributech comes with various agents, APIs, and even hardware sensors that you can use to integrate with whatever you want. So whether that is a physical sensor or a virtual system, Tributech gives you the means to integrate.
All right. So you bought Tributech, you've deployed it, you've got it integrated with your various data sources, but what does it actually do? Well, let's have a look.
This brings us to a core functionality of Tributech, notarization. As data leaves its source, Tributech notarizes the data and sends it to the Tributech platform where it is stored in a blockchain.
All right, so we've got two quite fancy words there, notarize or notarization and blockchain. So the word notary is really about having a third independent party that can verify what happens between two other parties. Imagine you're doing business with somebody else. You might keep a copy of the contract that you signed and give it to a third party. So in the future, if someone needs to verify that this really was the contract, you've got it there. So think about a person who could act as a witness to what happened and could later on verify that what you and the other party are saying happened really did happen. Or you might keep a copy of a contract that you've both signed in a safe place so you can go back to it later and verify that this really was what you agreed on. So the concept of a notary is an independent third party that can act as a means of verifying what actually was said, what actually happened, or perhaps what the data was when it left the source. Now on to blockchain. Blocks of data are chained together. The idea is that each individual piece of data is connected to all the other pieces of data around it in such a way that if you try and tamper with one piece, all the other pieces will be changed. And you might then go and try and change all those other pieces, but that will then change all the other pieces again. So you end up in this infinite game of cat and mouse, and it makes it more or less impossible to actually tamper with that data without being detected. It's the ultimate way to tamper-proof your data, hence why it's become such a big industry buzzword. Now, back to our story.
The whole point of this is so that Jim, Jane, and James can verify whether the data they're receiving has been tampered with or whether they can actually rely on it to make important decisions. Through Tributech, they can actually verify the data in real time. So if someone comes into the business and intercepts the data and injects some fake data or tampers with some data, Jim can get an alert and can immediately know where the good data is, where the bad data is, so that he can focus his attention on the good data.
So you should now be able to see how Tributech solves the issue of data tampering, fake data injection, and data poisoning. By notarizing the data at source and then storing that in a blockchain, you've got an independent trail of that data so you can verify it at any point during its life cycle. So now if someone tries to tamper with the data, alter the data, or inject fake data, you're going to be able to reference the data that comes to you to the data in Tributech and rapidly determine in real time whether the data has been tampered with or whether it's legitimate. You can instantly separate the bad data and make your critical decisions on the good data, meaning that you can actually rely on your data. But there are actually some other major benefits too.
Tributech also gives you the ability to distribute data so that you can send data on to other locations. So if the data was coming from one source and you want to send it to another location, that's easy with Tributech. Or if you want to send that data onwards out of the business, you can do that too. Tributech also gives you a single place where you can standardize and audit all of your data streams, saving you time when it comes to reporting, governance tasks, or compliance. And finally, Tributech doesn't just pull data inwards, it also gives you the ability to centralize your configuration tasks so that for all the different devices and systems in your business, you can actually control many of their settings from a single control panel in the Tributech interface, saving you time from an operational perspective.
So in conclusion, fake data injection, Data tampering and data poisoning are real threats, but with Tributech, you can easily separate that bad data from the good data so that you can make business critical decisions and have confidence in what you're doing. So if you're a security analyst trying to protect a business, you can act with confidence. If you're building a machine learning algorithm to try and get ahead of the competition or to try and automate some important processes, you can proceed with that project with confidence. If you have the responsibility to manage the operations of critical infrastructure, you can do it with confidence. You know, we could dwell a lot on all the technical things that Tributech can do, but the most important thing to realize is that what's at stake is our ability to make critical decisions. Without the ability to verify data throughout its life cycle, we're often forced to make decisions blind because we don't know whether the data we're using is good or bad. With Tributech, you don't have to be blind, and so you can make decisions with confidence. Now, I expect you're excited and geared up to go and speak to your customers about this amazing technology and to find out whether they have some of the problems we've discussed today. In order to help you with that, we've created a big cheat sheet with lots of extra guidance on these key use cases we've discussed, stories, links, questions, and processes so that you've got a playbook for how to have that conversation and be successful. But otherwise, thanks very much for joining us. I've been Rob with Tributech, and if you have any questions or anything that you want to speak about at all, please reach out to us. We're privileged to have you as a partner, and we're excited to work together. Thank you.